So I'm a new YouTuber and I'm still figuring out what I want to do on my channel. However, there are 3 things I told myself I do not want to do on my content creator journey. The first one is be controversial for attention, aka rage bait because I have no personality or talent. You may go viral that way, but virality doesn't guarantee people will want to stick around. Life lessons from Big Back that no one asked for. Second is try to appear aesthetic all the time. Not only does this seem unrealistic, especially for me, but it just seems physically and emotionally draining, especially to have to keep up with that all the time constantly. I do eventually want to get to a place where I'm more aesthetically pleasing to myself, but all in good time. And lastly, and this one pertains to the topic of the video the most, pay attention to the wording I'm going to use, going out of my way to seem relatable. Watch the skit and tell me if you've ever seen this happen before. Ugh, I'm so tired. Ugh. Time to watch my favorite YouTuber. Okay. Get ready with me using affordable products from Walmart. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, this blah, blah, is why blah, 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 I like blah, you. Blah, you are blah, way blah, more real blah, 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 than other influencers. Blah, 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 blah. Post. I'm hungry. Ugh, I hate that job. See what my favorite YouTuber's up to. See if she posted anything new. Hawaii, ooh, that sounds fun. See what this video is. Get ready with me to do a brand trip to Hawaii. Oh my gosh, you guys. And I already have my shades ready. I am so excited and obsessed, and this video is sponsored by Big Back Corporation. Okay. Wow. I used to watch you because you were relatable. Now you're just another insufferable narcissist influencer. Unsubscribe. Signed, Lena. Post. This is not a video essay, but rather just a chat about what people can expect from me as a content creator, what type of audience I want to build in this community, and as the title suggests, discussing how I don't want to be seen solely as relatable and why. Now, before anyone gets their underpants in a twist, I'm not saying I don't want people to relate to me. I do. Personally, I think that that's how you build bonds with people. I mean, yeah, you guys can't see or hear me, but wait, what? Yeah, I can't hear or see you guys, but you can hear and see me. So I think that it's a good way to build a community of like-minded people. This is just a random side note, but usually I subscribe to people that I relate to in some way, shape, or form. Not that there aren't people I'm subscribed to who have vastly different lives than myself. You know, I don't use that as like a criteria or anything, but it's just something that I've noticed. So the first reason why I don't want to be seen as relatable is because I don't want people to put me in a box. Once people label me as relatable, I feel like they're subconsciously going to put me into that box in their own mind. And then once I step out of the box of what they consider to be relatable, which I will because I'm human, they'll turn on me. I've seen it happen many, many times before. You'll have a creator who doesn't try to be super aesthetic, they seem to be, you know, like more relaxed and chill. They don't use super expensive products. They don't edit out mistakes or embarrassing moments. Basically, they don't try to appear, you know, perfect and trendy for social media all the time. And then people will then be drawn in by that because they feel like finally here's someone that seems real that I can actually relate to. But then, as time passes and said creator starts gaining more traction and then gaining more opportunities, slowly they start to change. Suddenly, they start using more expensive products than they were before. They start I don't know, doing brand trips. And it doesn't just have to be about like them changing their material possessions, but also changes in their personality. Let's say, for example, maybe they seem like they have more confidence than they did before. Maybe they seem more outgoing than introverted. You know, all signs that kind of signify lifestyle changes and potential personality changes. So now you feel like they've changed way too much from the original person that you subscribed to. They're no longer relatable. Sound familiar? Just to clarify, I'm not saying there's an issue with unsubscribing from someone because you changed your mind about them for whatever reason. It's not. For me, the issue comes from when people label someone as relatable and, like I said before, mentally put them into that box in their head of, oh, this is a relatable content creator. And then when they don't seem relatable to them anymore because they step out of that label that was bestowed onto them. I don't even use that word, which is probably why I said it wrong. And people start to leave hate comments. People start, judging their character. People start coming after their family that's not even on social media, and basically just starting an all-out hate campaign against that person. Instead of just being like, you know what? This isn't really for me anymore. Unsubscribe. Okay, so I told myself I wouldn't say any names in this video just because I don't want to come off as problematic or like I'm stirring the pot or anything. But I'm sure if you're online a lot like me, you've probably heard of the creator Hub's Life. If you don't know who Hub's Life is, he's a content creator that I think he would mostly post on TikTok. I'm not completely sure. He's a content creator that basically built a large following from normalizing the idea of having a 9-to-5 job. So he would post videos on TikTok showing what he did in his day-to-day life going to his corporate 9-to-5. And he would famously slowly lift his laptop from out of the bag in almost every single video. In his videos, he would have captions that would basically say things like, you don't have to have a flashy lifestyle like influencers do, and how there's nothing wrong with working like a stable, regular old job like everyone else, basically. I mean, granted, he didn't say those words explicitly, but that was kind of like the overall vibe of what his content was. And unsurprisingly, a lot of people liked it because they felt like they could relate to it. Which it makes sense, because if you constantly see people online that seem like they have perfectly curated lives, emphasis on the word seem like, they seem like they don't have to deal with the same type of problems that people like you have to deal with on a daily basis. Stuff that people would call, I guess, real problems. Which, of course, there's truth to that. But at the same time, you never really know what people are going through, influencers included. But seeing those types of lifestyles constantly can make you feel bad about your own life or make you feel like you're behind. Well, you can probably imagine people's shock when he went and did the very thing that he told people you don't have to do and quit his 9-to-5 job to become a content creator full-time. Yeah. And it didn't really help that people caught him. I don't want to say caught, but people caught him on TikTok live begging for people to send him a Galaxy Bro. And if you're like me and you don't have a TikTok right now, a Galaxy is basically like a monetary gift that the viewers can send the TikTok creator. Ow, that hurt. On TikTok live. So basically, he was begging for people to send him money after he quit his corporate job. Yeah. I'm not saying that the heat and the flack that he got from that was unwarranted, by the way, but I wanted to use his situation as an example of what can happen when you make being relatable your entire online persona. So this video is not about me not wanting to be relatable, but rather it's about me not wanting to go out of my way to seem relatable and make that my entire spiel and image. So I also wanted to use commentary and video essay YouTube as an example because I see this happen quite a bit in those spaces. Now, I'm just saying, I don't plan on being a commentary YouTuber and definitely not a video essayist. I don't know how you guys do it. all respect goes to you. But I've seen other YouTubers mention the thing that I'm about to mention, namely Gabby Bell. I love Gabby Bell. Her The Depth of Commentary video about how it's almost like if all of your content is just you criticizing other people, especially groups of people that are like commonly hated by the masses, like influencers. I'm talking every single video is just you doing that, so much so to the point that people know you for that. And naturally, it tends to draw in a crowd that is overly critical and a little hateful, if I'm being real. That's just my opinion. That's just my observation. That's waiting on you to slip up so then they can turn their disdain towards you instead. I know that this sounds kind of dramatic and paranoid, but it's almost like your audience is waiting on your downfall. I'm not a psychologist or anything, if you couldn't tell, but I feel like partially it has to do with the fact that people assume if you're criticizing something or people that you're going to be better than the people you're criticizing. Otherwise, why are you criticizing it? I'm not saying people that criticize others or influencers are bad people or anything. I just think it kind of does have like a negative connotation attached to it, unfortunately, just because of the nature of it. And I know this is rude, but it also does kind of seem like it draws in a crowd of people that are pretentious and that seem to think, actually, I'm the only intellectual and critical thinker left. It's not my fault that everyone else is just dumb. Okay, well, that's definitely not the kind of audience that I want. And no, just so you know, I'm not saying that I'm opposed to people giving me constructive criticism, as long as I feel like it's something that actually deserves to be criticized. But I will say I do not like unsolicited advice, and I don't like pretentiousness disguised as concern. I don't want people to only watch me because they think I'm going to call out other people's flaws and we're all just gonna revel in negativity and being miserable together. Now, on to the other side of this. Although I don't want to be known solely for being relatable, I also don't want to be known for being super perfect and aesthetic all the time, which, given my content so far, I don't think that'll be an issue. Because just like I said before, once people label me as aesthetic and put me in that box in their own mind, once I step out of said box, which again, I will because I'm human, especially since I've been told that I have a boring voice and a boring personality, which, yeah, they were right. Okay, so what exactly are you trying to say? Well, Lena, all I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be put into any box at all as a content creator. Oh my God. Okay.
Is she serious?
Girl, you are asking for way too much. You chose to put yourself out on the internet. Do you really think you can tell people not to perceive you? Well, you're right. I did choose this. It's not the perception of me that's the problem. It's the labeling and mental box placing around me that I don't want to happen. It may seem like I'm asking for a lot, but be the change you want to see in the world, right? You guys, I don't want to be seen as only this or only that. I just want to be. I want to do my best to show up as my most authentic self, with an edge of entertainment and boundary of privacy, obviously, because this is social media at the end of the day. And I know this sounds super cheesy, but I want people to like me for me. Sometimes I'm going to do things that are relatable, and of course, I love for people to relate to me. And sometimes I'm going to do things that are more trendy or mainstream if that's what I actually want to do. For example, I don't plan on turning down sponsorships, especially not just to seem more relatable or morally superior to other content creators. So you're just gonna accept a check from any company that offers? No, obviously I'm going to vet them and do my best to make sure I'm not getting with some super shady company. And also do my best to avoid companies that are well known to be problematic.
Better help.
Yeah. But to be able to be financially supported for doing something that I like to do, that I enjoy, girl, you think I'm saying no to that in this economy? where jobs are asking you to give them the world while they give us crumbs in return. Exy, no, I'm not turning that down. Sorry, got a little carried away. That's it. I'm hitting dislike. Hold on. Before you hit dislike, just listen. One thing I can promise you is that I will not take sponsorships from shady companies or promote products or services that I haven't actually tried myself for long enough to know if I think it's actually worth it. Yeah, I'm still hitting dislike. And that's completely fine, Lena, because I'm not for everyone. Now that we've reached the end of the video, I hope I got my points across the way I wanted to. Sometimes I tend to ramble and talk in circles, so hopefully I didn't do that. If I did, please give me some constructive criticism in the comments. Like I said, I'm still very new to YouTube. I'm still learning on this journey. I have a lot to learn. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you guys join me again next time.